Welcome to the Coach to Coach podcast, where we bring you powerful insights, expert strategies, and inspiring conversations to help you unlock your full coaching potential. Each episode highlights the unique strengths of the coaching world, featuring voices that are shaping the industry today. Some episodes are so impactful, we just have to share them again. Today, we are re-releasing one of those gems, a conversation with an expert who's taken coaching to the next level. We hope this episode sparks new ideas and helps you elevate your practice. Enjoy. I'm Brandon Miller, and you are listening to Coach. This weekly series dives deep into the world of Clifton strengths and how they impact your daily life. Hear from certified strengths coaches on the ins and outs, quirks, and characteristics of all 34 strengths and 4 domains and how they play out in real life. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Strengths Whisperer, Coach to Coach. Today I am joined by Charlotte Blair. Victoria, Australia is where she resides. She's going to tell you more about that in detail. TheStrengthsPartners.com. And Charlotte also has a website focused on supporting coaches, which I'm excited to have you all hear about today. And that's charlotteblair.com.au. She is an avid participant on LinkedIn. You can also find her there. And today we're talking about Maximizer. Welcome, Charlotte.
Well, thank you very much, Brandon, for having me. I'm excited and I feel in honor. I know it's your number one. So I'm like, wow, I really should be interviewing you, actually.
Well, I think that might happen all on its own. So please, for the purpose of our listeners, because I'm leaving this part for you to tell us more about, Charlotte is also an author, recently published her book, Career Unstuck. You can find that on Amazon. So Charlotte, can you tell our listeners a little bit about all the things that you're up to and all the fun you're having in this world of strengths?
Yeah, so lots of fun is absolutely right. I love being a maximizer because we get to focus on the strengths. So yeah, I've got 3 different parts to the business. First part with the strengths partners is working with individuals, teams, and organizations, helping them be the best strengths-based team that they can, with that joy of maximizer. I've got the other side of the business is supporting other coaches, and I love that, helping other coaches be the best possible coach they can be. And then Career Unstuck came about last year. Well, it got published last year, but it came about as a result of lots of people feeling stuck in their careers. So I love that I get to do something different every day. Every week, people say, what does your typical week look like? And it's like, there isn't a typical week. So yeah, I've been accredited 10 years now. I did my 5th recertification last week. And yeah, I used to sell IT and now I get to play to my strengths and do what I love every single day.
Love it. I love it. And so if you heard that, listener, 3 different groups that Charlotte gets to serve in the business side, individuals, teams, orgs, all of you coaches out there that might want a hand up or just another person in your corner helping you think about your business, how to become better at what you do, and or those of you that need some support with career. So Charlotte, talking about Maximizer today, I just want to go right into it. When you look at this strength, you think about this strength, and you can begin with your own version of Maximizer or just the general version. What does it mean? What's it all about?
I think my own version, I have to put my glasses on this because it was something that stood out to me on a page in a resource that I've got here. My own version, I remember when I first got my report and I read my Maximizer and I kind of went, yeah, I get that, focus on excellence. Yeah, I get that. It wasn't until I listened to a Theme Thursday season 1 with Kurt Liesfeld and he talked about subject matter expert. And I went, yes, that's me. I want to be a subject matter expert. Even when I was at Verizon selling, when I would have a client, I would want to know everything about that client. I would really want to drill down and focus in on that client and be the subject matter expert, understanding everything to do with their business and them. And I think that's why I love strengths so much, because I want to be a subject matter expert in strengths and really zero in on that. I know enough about Myers-Briggs or DISC or VIA to be dangerous, but I really want to become an expert in strengths. But the bit that really stood out to me in this resource here is this piece about see talents and strengths in others. I can't but help see it and want to be able to bring that out. And then this piece about loving helping others become excited about their potential. I think that's why I like focusing with other coaches, of focusing on helping other coaches as well. You know, they've got amazing potential and could get out there and spread the word. How can I help them do that? They have the capacity to see what people do best and which jobs they will be good at. I love that when we're thinking about moving people into the right roles, and particularly when I'm working with managers, helping managers to sort of, have people playing to their strengths as well. And then the funny bit about excellence, not average. There's certain things that I'm okay with average, but for me, there's certain things that I go, oh, kind of want to be excellent. I know I drive my son a little bit up the wall sometimes when he did this little video for me for this event that we've got coming up. And then he sort of presented it as finished. And I was like, oh, Harrison, it'd be really great if we just added music to this, because I was wanting to make it even better. Excellent. And he was like, oh, I thought I was done. And then naturally prefer working with and for the best. That really stands out to me. And if I think about people that I love working with, like Tracy and Karen with this event coming up, all three of us are maximizers. And then we go, oh, how can we make this even better than last year and make it the best possible that it can be? No, we don't want an average event. We want a really excellent event so that people walk away excited. So there's a couple of things that kind of, stand out to me. That sort of stimulating personal and group excellence is what really kind of like stands out.
Yeah, I love that you're calling out some of the core aspects, I think, of a maximizer's journey. When I saw this as my number one strength, and how deeply it resonated within me to want to work with the best and to want at the same time to pull the best out of others. And so the natural way that my mind moves to see strengths, seeing it in others and being so fascinated and so excited and so engaged, it never ever has gotten dull looking at a strengths report for the first time for someone, ever. It always thrills me. I think in terms of, I get to uncover telling you how amazing you are. I get to uncover piecing together things about you that you may have seen or understood, but now you have a term. Now you have a way to describe this to someone else. And I feel like Maximizer is one of those strengths that when we as strengths practitioners and those that have chosen this as a profession, Maximizer just seems like such a worthy companion for that effort, such a worthy strength that I think gives us some dimension, some depth, some understanding, because it's almost like we can't help ourselves. We can't help ourselves of just seeing it and wanting to bring it forward. And not just, I like to differentiate Maximizer in this way that it is wanting to bring it up to the very best of its capabilities. So there is an air of discontent in a Maximizer. We're discontent with just progress for the sake of progress. We're discontent with, well, you came 80, let's finish it up. Let's go to 100. Why are we stopping? And there's that discontent of, if I can see, just a little bit more to put that over the top, as you just described in the video, then it's worth doing. It's worth that effort. Let's put in the extra push. And so I think it's why when Maximizers coach in whatever field it is, they really do have that ability to call people to higher planes, to come up. No, you do have what it takes to do this. I can see that you have it. Here's where they've already been there. Now let's take you to the next level.
Yeah, I love that. And, I guess it's why it sits within the influencing domain. And whilst we go, yeah, no, let's not be limited by the domain, it is about, yeah, lifting others. I know some people talk about, oh, yeah, my maximizer, when I'm working on slides, I want to kind of keep polishing them. And yes, there's that piece of an actual task. And we know there might be other themes that influence that, but that whole sort of stimulating excellence in people and groups, it's probably why I love group workshops as well. If I had to pick my favorite strengths activity, it would be working with teams. Like if I could work with teams every day, all day, I'd be in my element. And then I love working with coaches as well. But yeah, it's that kind of team excellence. How can we make this team be the best team that they could ever be?
That's right. You were referring to an event that we will both be attending, which we might be airing this after that event. And in thinking about the two coaches you're working with, and since I know Tracy and Karen very well, and I know their work ethic and their strengths, and happen to with Tracy, she's part of our organization there for a season, and Karen, someone we worked very closely with the last year. And so I think about someone like you with Maximizer and selecting two amazing coaches like this, because one of the almost requirements of a maximizer is we need to feel like we're partnering and aligning with people that are at or exceeding our level. Because though we can bring people along, certainly we can develop, and certainly we can coach, and certainly we can engage, but when it's high profile, don't you find that there's this need within us to, okay, if I have a whole line of people to pick from, then I am diving for the ones that complement me most, bring a strengths that really help to set this apart. Is that something you find that naturally happens for your maximizer?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's that sorting piece as well. So, kind of thinking about sorting through the best. I mean, I was naturally drawn to Tracy and Karen anyway, and they both sort of said yes, they would love to sort of help out with this event. And I love that they're maximizers as well. But as we know, it's going to show up differently for everybody and influenced by their other talent themes. I love that Karen and I both got that sort of command activator, but Tracy really balances us out as well, kind of with her harmony. So we're always looking at how can we make it be the best, but then, somebody will go, actually, I don't think, we don't need to go to that level of detail. This is going to be excellent here. Let's focus in and sort on that bit and make that bit really excellent, because we don't need to sort of think about that. So yeah, I think I'm naturally drawn to, yeah, kind of working with and for the best as well.
That's right. So when you think about maximizers, I coached a person once that used to say, I have to be very careful with the word but. And I said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And he said, "Well, in our context, if someone comes to me with a finished work project, or someone comes to me with a conversation with a potential customer, or someone comes to me with an area of the budget they're working on, he would find that he would almost always give them really positive feedback, and then there would be this but or a way to add to it to improve. And you started to go there with your son, and what you were describing, and his, I thought I was done. Ugh. And so in coaching him, I remember him saying, I'm learning that it's important for me to let success sit for people, to let them enjoy that they did a good job, that this is a strong performance. And then if after time I felt strong enough that we really did need to add the punctuation, we had to add just a little bit more to put this over the top, then I would. But then other times he said he had decided, yeah, then I just realized, it's too much. It's okay. This is really, really good. Everyone will think that. I can let that go. And I'm curious both for you as a maximizer, and then also with people you coach, how you may have had to work with maximizers in that specific area.
Yeah, it's interesting as you're saying that. I go, "Do you know what? I notice so much more as a parent. I notice more the frustration I bring to my son when I say something like, oh, like I remember he did a painting when he was younger. And I said, oh, that is really brilliant. And if you just did this, and he was like, oh, you're never satisfied. And I was like, oh, yeah, that hurt a bit. So I notice it more in parenting. I think with other managers that I'm coaching, they notice it sometimes with their team for sure. And then it's, okay, how can we make sure that we are, offering really constructive feedback? That's why I love something like SBI for feedback, being able to sort of name the situation, the behavior, and the impact of something. And therefore, is that impact, are we talking about a little addition, or is it going to be an impactful addition if we are looking at adding something? So therefore, kind of picking your battles as to what am I going to give feedback on? Does it really need just this little extra flair, or actually are we going to have major impact here? And I think if I think back to one of the first team workshops I ever did was for an amazing leader who came to me and said, I've already got this really great team and I want to help them be the best possible team that they could be. For her, there was no buts in there. And that's something that keeps coming back to me as a memory and as an example to be able to give to other people who are struggling with that, but thing there of how can we just focus on being even better? It's not that this is broken. It's how can we just be a team that communicates better, that celebrates together better, that leverages each other. And I think when somebody comes along and says, we want to help team get to know each other better and leverage each other, that's that kind of group excellence piece, and that building upon other people's skills as well. But yeah, I think, helping with some skills around feedback and the but piece is sort of useful to go, when's the right time to add that but or and in.
I think I found also in working with leaders with high maximizer, the permission, if you will, or encouragement around pursuing excellence is a worthy pursuit, and the fact that you set such high standards for yourself and others is it's okay to do that. You have permission to do that. You calling people to that place, and at the same time acknowledging that others may lower standards than you have. But as you're working with them and you're growing and developing teams that consistently high perform, raising the bar is reasonable. Setting a new standard, showing up and saying, "Well, we reached it and we can go this much more, and let's keep growing," because I find maximizers often, will refer back to growth, right? Growth for self, growth for others. And that's a way that they feel into the world. Am I having impact? Am I making a difference? Are we fulfilling the purpose? Did we do what we were here to accomplish?
Yeah, I think the bit that really sort of keeps standing out to me here is the human excellence. Yes, we can have excellence on a product, but when we're thinking about leaders, it's that human excellence. So whether I'm coaching somebody or I'm leading a team or I'm managing a team, I think human excellence is the bit that kind of sticks out to me, and probably why it sort of resonates with me as a coach as well.
Yeah. I'm looking at the needs in the contribution and needs handout. And by the way, if you're listening today, our sponsor, 34 Strong, has a resource for you. If you email Brandon at 34strong.com, how to be a good teammate to me, the needs for maximizer, excellence and efficiency. We've been touching on that. Continuous improvement. So that commitment to growth, redefine success with each change. So, how do we define success? Quality, others to tweak or change for improvement, and to work with others who are strong. Charlotte, of those that were listed, which do you resonate with as needs for you personally?
I think the first one, and in particularly the last one, again they sort of relate to the human side, but in particularly for me those. What was the third one again? Remind me, because that one I was like, ooh, maybe less so.
Redefine success with each change.
Yeah, yeah, probably do. Is it a need? Mm, maybe not. Do I do it naturally? Possibly.
I definitely find that one, redefining success. In this season of growing my company, I have learned that it's implied now. It's implied in each quarter or each season where we're going to reassess our success. What's the new version of that? And I think because of that reality, that it's not uncommon for a team to reach an outcome and then move into some kind of a coasting season, and giving room for success and enjoying the moment and taking your victory lap, we call it. Take your lap, enjoy your lap, and then come back, and now where's improvement? How do we grow? There was this phrase I learned very young in sales: if you're green, you're growing. When you think you're ripe, you become rotten. When you think you've arrived and you've gotten all the way there, now it starts the slope of decline. And I think my maximizer feels that and resists it. So to me, it's, well, however much we think we've achieved, there's probably other opportunities here that we haven't uncovered. And so let's pick the next thing. If it's one thing, let's, as you were referencing earlier, let's communicate better in this area, or let's find this area to promote growth, such as, our ability to communicate with more people in our market, or, we wrote this many proposals. Let's up that goal. So I think that redefined success, my maximizer is certainly related to.
Yeah, do you know, as you were saying that, something kind of popped into my head that went, duh, of course you do. And that's why I go, is it a need I have, or do I just do it anyway? I think when I'm coaching people, whether it be other coaches or, kind of managers, I'm continuously, I guess, recontracting through the process of, this is what you said you wanted to get from it. How do you feel that we're tracking? Where do we need to take this conversation now for you to get what you need from the conversation? So I think that's definitely something that I do, and I have been a little bit more kind of conscious and aware of. But in that moment when we were talking about it, probably unconscious. Now I'm like, of course I do that. That continually kind of checking in. Where are we? Are we getting to where you wanted to get from this call? And redefining success as we go.
That's awesome. There you go. Yeah, and as you said that, I started to think about typical coaching sessions, and I'm looking at their success as my success, as their success, right? Like if you're reaching your outcome, then I'm doing my part, and we're gonna keep upping this, because that's how we're assessing my value as a coach. Is, are we making progress? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much we get along, and how much we might enjoy each other's company, you making progress is going to be the key for this investment and this relationship. I want to mention, to our readers, or excuse me, to our listeners, if you're reading this, well done, keep up. But career unstuck. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, because writing a book as a maximizer, and I've had the privilege to write as well, and I that experience, I found I really had to learn to set that down sometimes and allow the process of writing and being critiqued and having people give me feedback. I learned to really embrace that as part of the process. So Maximizer, though it kept calling to me, and I wanted the book to be the best it could be, and oh gosh, and then you go back and read, like, oh, I could have done this or made that or changed this. And I wanted to hear from you on this topic, both about the book and who it's good for, and a little bit more about where to find it, but also maybe a little bit about that process, writing as a maximizer.
Well, the book is called Career Unstuck: How to Play to Your Strengths and Find Freedom and Purpose in Your Work. The reason I wrote it, I will often ask the question when I'm coaching somebody, especially if I'm getting a feel that it's their career that they want coaching on. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love your job? And if love's too strong a word, like satisfied with your job. And it was sad how many people were like a 2 or a 3 or a 5. And I'm like, wow, there's so much more to life than a 3 or a 5. We're at work for over 80,000 hours in our lifetime. I believe that we should at least like what we do. And I would hence find myself keep, offering at the end of coaching, perhaps, oh, this resource helped me get unstuck, or this might be useful to you. So I started writing the book, and it's aimed at people who don't love what they're doing or feel stuck where they are, and then understanding why they feel stuck and what's keeping them stuck, and then how to get unstuck. As I was researching the book, I would find a new tool or a new framework or a new question or something else that could go into it. And I don't think the book would ever have got done if I let my maximizer go rogue on me, because there was always, oh, I could add this or I could add that. And I had to draw a line and go, no, that's it. It's done. It's going to the editor now. They then do their maximizing piece of, okay, how can we make this the best? Let's take out the bits that are not relevant to the person that you are aiming it for. And then it comes back. And yes, I could have kept tweaking, going, oh, yeah, no, but I just want this bit. And I was like, no, it's got to go now. It goes to print. Now, there could be a second version, a second edit where I could sort of add some tweaks to it. But yeah, I really felt that of, oh, at what point do I let this one go and it go to print? But I do like the process of getting feedback, where somebody would go, yeah, no, I don't think that's relevant, or have you thought about this? And it's like, oh, yes, that, how do we make this the best version it could be? It's interesting. I'm writing an article at the moment for a well-known publication, and it's quite an honor being asked to write for it. But oh my gosh, am I agonizing over what goes into this article? And I'm really feeling that maximizer at the moment of, well, I really want it to be the best possible it can be. And if I kind of get a bit of feedback, I'm like, oh, how do I make this the best possible article I can be in 1,300 words? That's the bit that I'm sort of struggling with. What do I distill down? So yeah, I'm kind of feeling some of that writing maximizer process right now.
I can so relate, Charlotte. In different projects, different call outs, everything from if I'm going to respond to an email, if I'm going to have a call back, if I'm going to bring some clarification to a situation, I find that it's really important that my best foot forward, right? That maximizer wants that best foot forward. And perhaps if you're listening today and you're coaching a team and you think you might have some maximizers, first of all, congratulations. That's a great strength to have on the team in any representation it comes, because they do want to all tides, right? All boats rise with the tide. So they want to help everybody be better, to keep growing and keep improving. But also as an individual contributor, they are looking for ways to show you their very best. And you will always get more from them playing to their strengths than you ever will putting them on the back foot, forcing them out of an area where they're not strong. And I imagine when you're coaching leaders, Charlotte, finding that space with them around, if you put a maximizer into a space where they're working out of the box, they're on that back foot trying to get forward through an area where they're not strong, they will lose interest and disengage pretty quick. That's gonna wear them down. And perhaps you found that with some of the folks you're coaching as leaders.
Yes, and when we're thinking about the team, I love it when we see, somebody in the team that's got high restorative, and therefore they might be a little bit more drawn to fixing something that's broken, and then let's give it to the maximizers who can take that now it's really good and make it even better. So I love that kind of pairing piece. Often when we go, somebody's in a space where they don't feel like they're able to play to their strengths, it's understanding why it is, which is why your sort of needs and contributions is so kind of vital and important for people to kind of understand, and leaders to sit down and have a conversation with their team about, of how can we make sure that we put you in a position where you're playing to your strengths, not doing something that drains you. And I've seen it before where there are people that are having to sort of focus on something that's broken, and that's not necessarily energizing them. And then they realize there's somebody in the team that loves doing that. And it's like, wow, okay, how can we, realign that? Like I was talking with Lisa Cummings recently about this sort of trash and treasure concept of how can we make sure that we do some job crafting and swapping within the team that gives people the opportunity to play to their strengths. And I think, again, as a maximizer myself, or working with a leader that's a maximizer, How can we reshuffle jobs and roles and tasks that give people the opportunity to play to their strengths?
Very good. Charlotte, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciated this conversation about Maximizer. To our listeners, we're coming to the end of today's show. And if you would like to get your hands on the resource I mentioned earlier, How to Be a Good Teammate to Me, you can simply message Brandon at 34strong.com, or you can look us up where you listen to your podcast and you'll find some reference to reach out. Charlotte Blair, all the way from Victoria, Australia. Now, you're in a small town there. You want to tell us where that town is?
Yep. So I live in Kyneton. It's a little rural town about, anybody that knows the map of Australia, it's about 80, 90 kilometres north of Melbourne. So we're just coming into winter here, so it's a little bit cold and grim outside, but yeah, it's beautiful. I live in a lovely 14-acre property. We're in what's called the Maston Ranges, so it's a very rural, beautiful country part of Victoria. I love living here.
You could find Charlotte at thestrengthspartners.com or charlotteblair.com.au or on LinkedIn. And as always, listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Strengths Whisperer, Coach to Coach. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Strengths Whisperer, Coach to Coach. Please feel free to reach out to Brandon to partner with 34 Strong for collaboration opportunities to serve your employees or clients together. If you are a strengths coach, lead a strengths-based team, or are a fan of strength, we invite you to receive our complimentary resource, How to Be a Good Teammate to Me, Understanding My Contributions and Needs. Email Brandon_Miller at 34strong.com to connect, and he will gladly share this resource that will continue to unlock the power of strength.